Let's take a look at the definition and importance of teams. Team-based organizational design is often seen as a way to keep pace with the challenges of a fluid and unpredictable world. A team is a place when two or more people who have different roles or responsibilities interact dynamically and interdependently and share a common and valued goal. Why are teams so popular? First, businesses are facing increased pressures and global competition. Using teams is one way to address these challenges because teams can include members from different parts of the world. Second, due to rapid changes in the environment, organizations need to be prepared to adapt and change quickly. Using teams provides greater flexibility because individuals can be rotated in and out of teams based on needs. Third, products and services are becoming very complex, requiring many people contributing their diverse talents to the same project. Teams are able to respond more quickly and effectively to changes than can individuals working alone. Finally, many organizations have gone through downsizing and restructuring, which has led them to become flatter and has reduced the number of hierarchical levels. A team based structure is more congruent to these changes compared to traditional hierarchical structures. Although many organizations choose to structure themselves around autonomous work teams, team based organizations do not necessarily outperform organizations that are not structured around teams. Including team performance as part of a performance management system is an extension of a system that is focused on individual performance only. Teams can be classified based on the complexity of the task, from routine to non routine tasks, and membership configuration, from static to dynamic. Routine tasks are well defined. There are few deviations in how the work is done, and outcomes are easily assessed after the task has been completed. By contrast, non routine tasks are not defined well. There are no clear specifications about how to do the work, and outcomes are usually very long term and difficult to assess. Membership configuration includes how long the team is expected to work together and the stability of its membership. There are three main types of teams based on task complexity and membership configuration dimensions. Work or service teams are intact teams that are engaged in routine tasks, including manufacturing or service tasks. An example is a group of people working an assembly line who share a similar set of skills. Project teams are those that are assembled for a specific purpose and are expected to disband as soon as their specific task has been completed. The tasks are outside the core production or service of the organization and are therefore not as routine as those of service teams. Network teams include members who are not limited by time or organizational boundaries. Usually, team members are geographically dispersed and stay in touch via telecommunication. They might have a combination of temporary or full time workers, customers, vendors, and even consultants. Team performance management must consider the type of team in question before performance measures are put in place. Different performance measurement methods are appropriate depending on the type of team that's being evaluated. Many organizations have become more team based, but they've not changed their performance management systems to accommodate this new organizational reality, which presents a unique challenge. If the organization is based on teams, but performance is still measured and rewarded at the individual level, team performance will suffer. In fact, some of the existing individual rewards may promote people not to contribute to team performance and instead to focus on individual performance only. In general, organizations that choose to include a team component in their performance management systems must ask the following questions. How do we assess relative individual contributions? How much has one member contributed in relation to others? Are there any slackers or free riders? And is everyone contributing to the same extent, or are some members covering for others? Or, how do we balance individual team performance? How do we motivate team members and support collective goals? How do we hold team members accountable individually? In other words, how do we achieve a good balance between measuring and rewarding individual performance in relation to team performance? Or how do we identify individual and team measures of performance? How can we identify measures that indicate individual performance versus those that indicate team performance? And where does individual performance end and team performance begin? Finally, based on these measures, how do we allocate rewards to individuals versus teams? Performance planning includes the consideration of results and behavior. In addition, performance planning involves the creation of a development plan. Each of these issues needs to be considered at the team level. Results expected of the team, behaviors and processes expected, and development objectives to be achieved by the team and its members. Discussion of results must include key team accountabilities, specific objectives for each team accountability, i.e., the goals to be researched, and performance standards like what constitutes acceptable team performance. A discussion of behaviors needs to include competencies like clusters of KSAs. Finally, the developmental plan includes a description of the areas that need improving and goals to be achieved in each area. The plan includes not only goals for the team as a whole, but also developmental objectives for individual performance that will benefit team performance. Consider the following recommendations regarding how to facilitate and accelerate team learning and development. Facilitate adaptive learning. As part of the team development plan, team members should be encouraged to try new behaviors. Also, as the team completes work on a specific project, changes that were made in process can be reviewed in detail to understand what worked and what didn't. Facilitate generative learning. Teams can be given information regarding best practices implemented by other teams and the same organizations or even other organizations. Teams should be given time to practice new skills until they become habitual. Facilitate transformational learning. Teams can be encouraged to experiment with new ways of working together, including a discussion of feelings of uncertainty when facing change. Members from other teams can be invited to participate in discussions about performance or even to work as members of the team temporarily as a way for improving motivation, innovation, collaboration, and creativity. Autonomous teams are solely responsible for performance execution. However, when a team has a supervisor or team leader, then both the team and the supervisor share responsibilities for performance execution. For example, team members need to be committed to goal achievement and should take a proactive role in seeking feedback from one another as well as from the team leader if there is one. The burden is on the team to communicate openly and regularly with their supervisor. Also, team members are responsible for being prepared for the performance review by conducting their regular and realistic peer assessments and check ins. In this way, team members have solid information regarding how their performance is perceived by their team members before they meet the team leader. The team leader also has important responsibilities, including observing and documenting team performance and relative contribution of the team members. They also update teams on any changes in the goals of the organization and providing resources and reinforcement so that team members will be motivated to succeed. Building and leading high performing teams requires specific KSAs. Trust is a critical issue in most organizational contexts, but especially for virtual teams. Team members have to trust their leaders, their peers, and the entire organization to be most effective. Second, team leaders also need to help establish a motivating vision and goals for the team. Third, they need to be able to provide helpful feedback to the entire team as well as individual team members. Related to team performance execution, team performance management can be fun. All team members must evaluate one another's performance as well as the overall performance of the team. Peer evaluations are a key component of the assessment stage because they lead to higher levels of workload sharing, cooperation, and performance. Also, team coordination and feedback improve when peers monitor the performance of all other members of the team. This leads to the recognition of errors to taking actions to correct those errors quickly. Peer evaluations can also include team members nominating someone else as the review period's most valuable performer. In addition, the team leader evaluates the performance of each team member as well as the team as a whole. Involvement of each team member in the performance assessment process increases the member's ownership and commitment to the system. Self appraisals also provide important information to be discussed during the performance review. Without self appraisals, it's not clear to team members whether the team members understand what's expected of them. Like any time we are evaluating others, the assessment phase is prone to biases. Three types of performance need to be assessed: individual performance based on task performance, individual performance based on contextual performance, and team performance as a whole. How can we assess the we side of performance? As in the case of measures of individual performance, measures of team performance should include both results and behavior. Team performance as a whole can be measured using the following four performance dimensions. Effectiveness. This is the degree to which results satisfy customers and stakeholders, including both internal and external customers. Results could be the same as those that are measured to evaluate individual performance. Efficiency. This is the degree to which internal team processes support the achievement of results, team growth, and team member satisfaction. This can include measures of communication, collaboration, and decision making. Learning and growth. This is the degree to which the team is able to learn new skills and to improve performance over time. Specific measures can include innovation, documented learning, and process improvements. Team member satisfaction. This is the degree to which team members are satisfied with their membership. Specific measures can include team members' perceptions about the extent to which teamwork contributes to their growth and personal well being. When the team has a meeting to discuss its overall performance, it's helpful to include a person from the outside of the team as part of the performance discussion. This helps team members to be objective as possible when they evaluate their performance. In organizations that are structured around autonomous teams, there may not be a supervisor or a manager. In that case, a team leader or representative would meet with a performance review board, which includes representatives from all teams. At least two meetings are needed. First, the team leader meets with all members of the team together. The focus of this meeting is to discuss overall team performance, including results achieved by the team as a whole. Second, the team leader meets with each individual team member. The focus of this meeting is to discuss how the individual's behavior contributed to team performance. Both meetings emphasize the past, the present, and the future. The past involves a discussion of performance during the review period, the present involves any changes in compensation depending on the results achieved, and the future involves a discussion about goals and developmental plans. Are there specific KSAs that would be important for a particular team member to develop further in the future? In virtual teams, a study involving more than 400 professionals identified the following two KSAs that are related to virtual team member performance: leading and deciding, making clear decisions, taking responsibility, motivating other team members, and setting clear goals for other members; and analyzing and interpreting, using communication media effectively, communicating well in writing, working in a solution oriented way, analyzing data effectively, and learning to use new technologies. Let's reflect on these two dimensions. Which of the behaviors involved in each of the competencies are your strengths and which are your weaknesses? Given the reality of virtual teams in your career progression, what steps could you take to improve your proficiency? Teams are a pervasive fact in organizational life. Organizations whose performance management systems include team performance must design them to reward it. Organizations can reward team performance in ways similar to those in which they reward individual performance. An organization can have a variable pay system in which an individual is eligible for bonuses if her team achieves specific results. This reward would be in addition to any performance based rewards allocated according to individual performance. There are several success factors specifically related to team rewards. First, a study considering 30 separate investigations concluded that team rewards are more potent in smaller teams. In smaller teams, it's easier for everyone to see others' effort, motivation, and performance. Second, studies have provided evidence in support of team based contingency pay plans. But similar to the case of individual rewards, in implementing team rewards, we need to be aware of the factors that makes rewards fair.